Go ahead, William. We're live, sir.
Good afternoon, Pittsburgh fans, and welcome to the Point After the Steelers postgame show. Yes, got a lot to talk about. A lot of grievances we got to air out today. Want to start off by saying a Merry Christmas to all. Hope your Christmas was wonderful. Hope Santa Claus was good to you. Hope you woke up and had a lot of presents under the tree, and I hope you're enjoying the family and all that good stuff. It's good times. But
Good times, William.
all right, so let's get right into it, Ed. You know what? I don't know what to say here. A 3-game losing skid. 27-13 loss against the Eagles, 34-17 loss against the Ravens. And then today, a 29-10 loss against the Chiefs. You want to talk about another Tomlin late season meltdown? Here it is, folks. Just want to start off by saying, and I don't mean to be a negative Nancy here, but I am a realist, and I call it like I see it. If you're optimistic about this team going into the playoffs, I would kind of reevaluate what you're thinking and how you're viewing this team, because this is not good at all. We got a lot to break down, obviously, Ed. But what did you see? What did you see out on the field? I mean, here we go again. We've talked about this how many times about can this team come from behind and win? And the answer, time and time again, in the last 3 weeks, is a big fat N-O. A big fat N-O. No, they cannot.
Yeah. It was glaring today. They got thoroughly outcoached. They were missing their number one defender in Chris Jones, and they schemed around it, and they just thoroughly beat them in every – and, Billy, the special teams popped up again, another 100 yards on special teams.
Right.
I mean, this the biggest problem, if I were a Steeler fan, is the yardage. So you started with Cincinnati. You gave Cincinnati 375, right? Then you come back, you give 328 to Cleveland, 401 to the Eagles, 418 to the Ravens, 389. But honestly, Kansas City could have had 500 yards today, really, truly.
Right.
The defense is not playing anywhere near the way it's showing its age. It's showing its limited ability. I mean, it's just too and they do have players hurt, but so did Kansas City. They're missing their best player. And I just think it's an organizational defeat is what it is, because what are you going to do next year? Because the Steelers told all their fans that the reason they switched to Russell Wilson was because he's now 6-4, right? Same exact record as Fields, 4-2. I just think it's an organizational problem, because I mean, where are you going? You can't be Kansas City as you're currently built, right? So what do you do organizationally? I don't know. Going into the playoffs, you're absolutely right, Billy. And this is what I envision, because I've lived here for 25 years, and I've seen the way the Steelers fans and the media work. They'll play the worst defense in the NFL next weekend, or next time they play. The worst defense in the NFL. And they could get right against Cincinnati. They really could. But it's not going to matter. That doesn't mean they're fixed. When they play teams that have quality coaching, quality players, they can't beat them.
No, they can't.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. I mean, they cannot. It's just you faced 3 good teams in a row, and you lost. You got your ass handed to you in each game. Let's not sugarcoat it. It is what it is. You got your ass handed to them in each game.
Completely unready to play today again, Billy.
Yeah.
13-0 right off the bat.
Right. I mean, it was just I knew it. Whenever early on the game, I was like, yeah, this is not going the way that it should. Russell, another costly pick. You get that penalty.
Fumble in the first drive.
Yeah. I mean, you're lucky they were lucky to fall on that, but and then you get that pick, and then another fumble by Freiermuth, and that sealed the game right there. I mean, you're driving, and you fumble. I mean, that was it. I said this game's over with. It's done. You might as well, I don't know, put the Christmas turkey in the oven and get ready for dinner here. But Russell Wilson, 23 for 37, 205, 1 interception, no touchdowns today. You got Pickens back. I thought he made I thought he made somewhat of an impact. Had 3 receptions for 50 yards.
Billy, he's one of those ones where the juice is just not worth the squeeze. He is so immature.
I
He
know.
doesn't get the ball.
Yeah.
Things don't go well. I mean, he
Takes his helmet off. I mean, yeah, it's
does
just
a penalty
it's out
every
of
day of the
control.
week. You're not allowed to remove your helmet on the playing field. I don't know why they don't start flagging him. I mean, you cannot do it on that false start at the last drive. Why they don't flag that, I don't know, because it is a penalty.
Yeah, this team's out of control. I mean, they're out of control bad. I mean, they are. I mean, listen, Steeler fans. You know, hey, I'm a true fan. Been a fan for eons. I piss black and gold, but listen, it's just I call it like I see it. This is not a good team. This is not a good team. And I'll tell you what, like I said, if you're all will be fine and you're optimistic, you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. You need to come back down to reality. You need to come back down to earth where everybody else is, and you need to this team's not good. I tell you what, they are just not a good team right now. And let me we said this on our Pittsburgh show. Let me just give you and I hate to rub salt in the wounds, but I'm going to do it. I mean, I'm calling it like I see it. I'm calling them out. Tomlin's Steelers have been known to indulge in the occasional late season disintegration. Okay, now let me just throw this out there. Okay, went from 7-2-1 to 9-6-1 in 2018, missing the playoffs. Okay, let me read that again.
Yep.
Went from 7-2-1 to 9-6-1 in 2018, missing the playoffs. Okay. Went from 8-5 to 8-8 in 2019, missing the playoffs. Let me read that again. Went from 8-5 to 8-8 in 2019, missing the playoffs. Okay. Started 11-0 in 2020, then lost 5 of their last 6, including their wild card playoff game at home to Cleveland. And that was that was terrible. That was one of the worst losses, I think, in Steeler history. It was just awful. And now here you go. You now are 10-6, dropped to 10-6. You've lost your last 3 in a row against really good teams. How on earth, being of sound mind, would you have any optimism going into this playoffs? Yeah, they clinched the playoffs. They're in. How would you have any optimism at this point in time with what you're seeing on the field? How would you have any optimism? I want to hear it. People comment. Let's hear it. Let's hear your why you have optimism. Let's hear it. I want to hear it. I don't. This team's not good. This team's not a good team. And it's just
Billy, and I also think they played Russell Wilson brilliantly. They sat back. They had Nick Bolton, who just sat back. He made sure the pocket was tight. He cannot win from the pocket. He just can't. And then they stood there and knocked balls out again.
Well, and I'm going to say this. The Steelers secondary leaves a lot to be desired. I know you have some people hurt and everything like that, but I'll tell you what. You looked at what Kansas City did. They were running crisp routes, but also they were sitting on a lot of routes. They were finding open spaces, and they were sitting on the route. And Patrick Mahomes, it's too easy for him. I mean, it's too easy for him. He drops back. He has plenty of time. He had good protection today. Yep. He didn't really have anybody. What did we get one sack? Did we get any sacks? I don't think we got one. No
sacks.
No sacks at all. So he had a clean pocket the entire game. Like I said, Travis Kelce, Worthy,
2 quarterback hits, by the way.
That's it. Right.
And
the one was that one that was flagged by Sutton, which was stupid. I mean, you go high
anytime, yeah.
Anytime. That's a dumb. That's just stupidity.
It goes also to the discipline. They just lack discipline on the team. And one of these days they'll wake up. Maybe No. I just think the shtick is over. They can't win. They cannot win. They just can't win. And all they're going to do. And most Steeler fans, here's what they're going to say. The typical Steeler fan is going to say, "Well, we did rush the ball for over 200 yards." Great. I mean, the last drive was all junk.
What did that get you? I mean, you put up 10 points. You lost by 19. You lost by 19 points.
Right.
What did that get you? I mean, you look, Najee had 13 carries, 74 yards. Jalen Warren had 11 carries for 71. Russell ran a lot today, 6 for 55.
He had to, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, he had to, But yeah, I mean, it's just I don't I don't even know what to, 2 fumbles, one for a loss. And that Freiermuth, that was a big fumble. Let's face it. That was the nail in the coffin right there. That was it.
Sure enough was.
And then you drive right down the field. I mean, he found Kelsey a couple times, drove right down the field, and Kelsey scored a touchdown on that.
Kelsey was largely wide open the entire day.
Well, what do we always say?
Yeah.
Steelers don't cover the tight end. They just refuse to do it. He was sitting on routes too. Yeah. He was sitting on a ton of routes. He would just go there, okay, and just sit. Yeah. Boom, he would find them. I saw the same thing with Worthy. Boom, boom, boom. He would sit on a route. He would find them.
And the other telling thing at halftime when they interviewed Tomlin, over the halftime, he was bemoaning the fact that they weren't getting turnovers. You're exactly right when you say that. They're counting on those as offense and defensive assets when you can't, simply cannot.
No, you cannot. And
I mean, they count on them like that. I mean, he said, well, we had a ball on the ground. We didn't get it. Another ball tipped up, should have had it. I mean, you can't count on those.
Right. Well, no, good teams. I've said this before. Good teams don't need good break. They don't need breaks. Okay, right. You don't need. If you're a good team, if you have bad breaks, if you're a good team, you overcome those.
Right.
But you don't. A good team doesn't need breaks to win a game. They don't. They don't. They don't. They shouldn't. Let's just put it that way.
And it's a third straight game of over 100 yards of return yardage. I mean, they had 118 today. That's all that hidden yardage.
Hey, I'm going to say this right now. I don't know. People love this Danny Smith, and they think, Mr. Bubblegum, 20 pieces, whatever. I don't know how many. Yeah. He's double bubble spokesman at this point in time. But I'm sorry. I hate to say this, but special teams this year have been lackluster. He needs to get it. He needs to get his act together on some of this stuff. You're right. I mean, it's return yardage. Guys aren't staying in their lanes. They're just, it's pathetic. I mean, guys they're not swarming to the football. They're not staying in their lanes. It's not good.
It goes back to the discipline is lacking, and that's glaring now because as your players age. I mean, I feel bad for T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward. They leave. I mean, again, Hayward leaves his entire body on the field for what? 10 points,
right?
10 points and no hope for the future. It's time for them. They need a hard reset, which I don't know that they're going to get with Tomlin.
Well, yeah, and I mean it's just at this point in time, and that was not a catch, by the way. They should have challenged. I mean, they didn't really have a lot of time, but I would have thrown the flag.
You always throw it, Billy.
Yeah, I would have thrown it. I don't know why he held on to it. Not that it would have mattered. That it would have mattered because they would have still moved the football down the field. I have no doubt in my mind.
It goes back to discipline. When you see the other opposing team running up, you throw the flag, right? And then the referee will come over to you and they'll ask you a question. And if by that point you're not hearing your ear, don't do it. Because you can always,
right.
Claim something else. Well, we were going to challenge the fact that they might have had 12 people on the field. Something obscure. But there is no discipline.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes passed for 328 yards, 3 touchdowns. It was just too easy for him. Lock up the top seed in the AFC. That it's official. They locked it up. They are the top seed.
And by the way, now he gets so much time off. It's absurd.
Right. 4th time in 7 seasons that they've locked up the top seed. I mean, is this a dynasty? I think you can pretty much say it is.
Yeah.
But
he's not playing. He doesn't have to play for a full month. The 18th is the divisional round, 18th and 19th. 1 full month they get off. Well, at least he does because we know for sure he's not playing.
Yeah. I mean, he connected first half. He connected to Xavier Worthy, Justin Watson. And like you said, Steve Spagnuolo, I mean, this guy can scheme anything. He's such a great defensive mind. And he just outwitted the Steelers today. I mean, just literally out. Made it look like, Pop Warner stuff.
It almost looked against air, Billy.
Yeah. I mean, Kansas City defense just did everything minus Chris Jones, all pro defensive end, out with that calf injury. They still were able to get the job done. Sacked Russell Wilson 5 times, forced 2 turnovers. And really, truthfully, they didn't even look tired out there, Ed. No, I mean, they didn't even look tired. It was
they also hit him 9 times.
Yeah. Kelsey caught 8 passes for 84 yards, becoming the third tight end in NFL history to reach 1,000 receptions. Good for him. Joining, I think, with Tony Gonzalez, probably Jason Witten, I think, is there too as well.
As far as tight end catches.
Yeah.
Gonzalez is higher because he played for 2 different teams. Kelsey has the record for the Chiefs. He's not.
Jason Witten's up there as well, I think.
Oh yeah, there's a couple over 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 straight wins for Kansas City. So
they're a quality organization from top to bottom. And immediately after the guy put the thumbs down, they had a player come up to him, I forget who it was, and said, "Are you stupid? Why'd you do that?" Right? You don't see that on the Steelers. They high five each other. They encourage each other to be idiots. Right. George Pickens and Billy. It didn't matter if JPJ was in there or not in there. I mean,
well, no, you would have had a lot more calls. You would have had a lot more pass interference and home calls. Yeah.
And the fact that Pickens continually takes his helmet off and acts like an absolute child on the field. Yeah. If they give any money to that guy, I would be shocked.
He is just absolutely out of control. And Mike Tomlin won't get him in check. Mike Tomlin, he can't do it. He just won't do it.
No, won't do it.
No, he won't do it. So
I don't know why he won't, but he won't.
Yeah. Mahomes is 4-0 against the Steelers in his career.
Yep.
He owns them. He owns them.
Yep. So. All right, Billy, grading. I gave the coaching staff an F.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm
with you. They were terrible today. The game plan was god-awful.
Yeah.
I even thought the play calling was
terrible.
I thought it was terrible as well.
Absolutely terrible. You look at the difference between a professional football team and whatever that offense the Steelers are going to try to call. I don't even know. Mahomes had 7 options, it seemed like. Every time he turned around, he could go slant, off to the field to Travis Kelce. He could go a post pattern. They're wide open everywhere. And the way they played Russell Wilson is a problem. Because if you do what they did, rush 3 and have a spy there, and then that spy either comes in or that spy just jumps up and knocks the ball down. He does not operate well in the pocket. He just doesn't.
Right. I know I started the show outlining these 3 losses, but to me, what's most troubling, Ed, is the way that this is played out. Each of these 3 games, you've lost by over 14 points.
Right.
So.
Yep. And it makes you go back and look at the season and realize how lucky they were to win some of those games.
Exactly. Well, Justin Tucker missing 2 field goals.
And an extra point. Yeah.
An extra point. I mean, we'll start there.
Getting to Denver early with the rookie quarterback.
Right. More than likely, they're going to start the playoffs on the road. And that's not a good situation.
Nope.
You had a 2-game division lead just 3 weeks ago, and you blew that. You just absolutely blew it. You blew it. And that's just the mark of a bad team. People say, "Oh, they had a chance to." Yeah, they did, but they're just not a good team. They're not a team that's things are within their grasp, but they just can't seal the deal. I mean, it's just call it what you will.
Say if they do get the division win, which will probably now you have to look at Houston, right?
Yeah,
I forgot about that. If Houston loses today, that's good for the Steelers because that will mean. Better seeding. That'll mean the 3rd instead of the 4th.
Yeah, he actually root for the Ravens tonight, as that's
as crazy as that sounds, but
as sacrilegious as that is. But Mahomes got this ankle injury, suffered it against Cleveland. To me, it's not even bothering him. I think he's good.
Phantom injury.
Yeah.
So. But say you get in the playoffs. Even if you win the first round, you can't beat Buffalo. You can't beat.
No.
You can't beat Kansas City. So there's no opportunity whatsoever to accomplish what the main goal of the football is. So, what do they do? Can they beat Cincinnati, Billy? I mean, it was 44-38.
Cincinnati has a lot to play for in this game.
Yeah, well, we'll see, but they could, right?
Yeah, they very well could have a lot to play for. So this, but as I said, Mahomes led the Chiefs to 2 touchdowns on the first 2 drives. Hit Worthy out on the flat for that 7-yard score. And then, you hit another flare route that they don't cover, hitting Watson in the back corner of the end zone. So.
Yeah, to me, it's organizational failure.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of the post game on right here, and he said he's willing to change anything that will make the team better. Really, honestly,
Yeah, a little too little too late on a 3-game losing streak.
All right. If you were willing to do that, you would have done it after the Eagles loss, no, or after the Ravens loss,
Right.
or after the Kansas City. They're not going to change anything, Billy.
Right. No.
I mean, they're just not. Their offense is from the 1940s sometimes.
Yeah.
And it just I'm not sure where they go after this year. I'm really not.
I said it late in the first quarter. You have that. You get that short touchdown run by Jalen Warren. It gets negated by Washington's holding.
Yeah.
And then what's Wilson doing? I mean, he drops back. He throws into triple coverage, and gets picked off.
He is holding on to that ball a lot longer, which is what the coach said in Denver. He holds the ball too long.
Yeah.
He's not able to make those throws in the pocket. He's just not.
Yeah.
And Kansas City knew that. Steve Spagnuolo knew that. They kept him in the pocket largely. The only time he was able to operate is when he left the pocket.
And I tell you what, you drew within 6 a couple times in this game. It was 13-7, then 16-10.
Yep.
But you never really. First of all, in the second half, you never really had the ball.
Nope.
And a chance to take the lead. You just spent. It was just. I don't know.
It was not their best outing, and really what it comes down to is, can they rebound? I mean, they can't. They can get to 11 wins. Oh, by the way, Chargers can get to 11. Denver can get to 11.
Right.
Houston can get to 11.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Luckily, they own the tiebreakers over Los Angeles and Denver, so the furthest they can be is 5th. They can be 3rd or 5th, and that's it.
Right.
If they win, if they don't win, you're looking at going to Buffalo first round.
And then, like I said, this first snap of the fourth quarter, Kareem Hunt runs it in 2 yards.
Yeah.
And then 22-10, you got Pat Freiermuth.
Yeah.
Fumbled on the next possession, costly fumble. You're in the red zone.
Nick
Bolton falls on it.
Yeah, but the guy, it's not as if he wasn't being like reckless or careless. He just wanted to try to gain more yards. But
I understand that.
Because he should have the ball in the outside arm. That's all.
Well, yeah, he should have had. Yeah, exactly. He had it in his left arm. He should have had it on the right. Should have had it on the right. That's football 101.
Yeah.
But and then like I said, Nick Bolton falls on that fumble, and then what? It was just 4 plays, I think. Later, you're right in the end zone. Throw that float up to Travis Kelce to put everything out of reach.
Well, it really, I go back to the point that Tom made. You cannot be a football coach and count on those things. You just can't.
You can't.
You can't bemoan the fact that you don't get those are lucky plays sometimes.
Yeah.
When the tips and the bounces go your way, great. And that's what happened in Cincinnati when they won. That's what happened a couple of the games where they won.
Yeah.
But that can't be part of your game plan. Oh, well, we're going to get a turnover. No, you're not.
Yeah.
Isaiah
Pacheco left in the second half of that rib injury. He got nailed by Micah Fitzpatrick. He really hit him hard.
He did.
So, and then Cam Hayward, I was like, oh, geez, here we go. He's hurt. Yeah. Exited briefly in the fourth quarter, came back. But up next, Chiefs are going to go to Denver. So you think Mahomes is going to sit?
No, nobody's playing in that game. Not a single person will play in that game.
Right.
It'll be Carson Wentz. They already said it doesn't mean anything to him.
Right. It's meaningless.
Yeah, they've got what they wanted. That's Christmas gift from Andy Reid. Right. And then the Steelers have the Bengals come to town, and who knows how it plays out. It could mean nothing for the Bengals, but I still think that they would want to win that game, Billy.
Oh, they're gonna. Yeah, of course. It's a division. You got a division opponent with a chance to spoil your season even more.
Yeah.
Or how things could play out. Cincinnati actually might have to win that game.
Correct.
In order to get in, and so that would be the worst case scenario. A hungry, Bengals team coming in there.
Yeah.
And
it'll be. I don't see them making any noise in the playoffs. I just don't. They don't have the personnel to do it.
Well, yeah, like I said, Ed, this was a litmus test. These last 3 games. This was
we talked about it too. Yeah.
Yeah, you played 3 really good teams. When you look at it, you have 3 Super Bowl contending teams you just went up against.
Yeah.
And you've lost. I'm going to say it again. Okay, you ready? You lost 27-13. You lost 34-17, and then 29-10 today. Now, is that the mark of a good team? Are you up to if you have half a brain, right? If you're an amoeba, you can pretty much realize that this isn't good. This isn't,
No, it's not what winning teams do. They don't back into the playoffs. They don't, default themselves in. Honestly, Billy, we've said it 1,000 times. They've got to look at the organization as a whole. They really do. I mean,
well, that's something for the offseason to think about. I agree, Ed. Right now, they've got to figure out ways to right this ship because I tell you, well, I mean, it's pretty much too little, too late at this point.
Yeah, it's.
I mean,
because you've already been measured twice by the teams you'd have to go through, and they just dismantled you.
Right.
So it's just not. We talk about the offseason. The offseason is 2.5 weeks away, possibly.
Yeah.
Right. So
I mean,
I just think that. What do you do? What do you do in the meantime? What do you do to do something in the playoffs?
Yeah.
I don't know what you do really.
So I read you the late season disintegration that Tomlin's.
Yep.
Do you think you add this season to that? Is it too early to do that, or is that too much?
No, it's derailed their entire season, Billy.
I mean, I think you do. When 2019, you went 8-5 to 8-8.
Right.
Do you think that's too much to?
Oh yeah.
Am I really reaching on this?
No.
Saying you think you add this to the list? You add this season to the list?
You have to add it to the list. There's no doubt about it. 7 losses. That's 4 in a row. What was the record going in before that? Right.
Yeah.
They were a top team. Now they're just back to where possibly. I mean, we said at the beginning of the year, we all were very close. I said I wouldn't be surprised with 7-10 and 10-7. You guys were a little higher. Tracy had 12 or 13, and you're pretty damn close, Bill. I think you said 11. Yeah. I'll go back and think, but I think you pegged it right on. You said this is a team.
I did say 11.
Yeah. So I mean, and I figured 7-10 wouldn't surprise me neither with 10-7. They just don't have the personnel in order to compete in this day and the age in the NFL. They're too old on defense and too expensive. And the offense, they just need weapons. No one on that offense scares anybody. No. And I'll tell you who had a really bad game today is Broderick Jones. There's something wrong with that guy, man.
Yeah.
He is terrible at right tackle.
He's like a swinging door. He's like a swinging door.
I mean, and they should be jumping for joy they didn't have to play Chris Jones today. Because he would have eaten them alive.
He's like those. He's like the westerns, with the half doors.
Barn doors. They just swing. Don't mind me. But I mean, in fact, they are lucky Chris Jones didn't play. I mean, he would have destroyed them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how about that? What's that say? I mean, Chris Jones wasn't even in there, and they still Steve Spagnuolo like, oh yeah, I don't have my top defender. Oh, that's no problem. We'll scheme around them. We'll be good.
5 sacks.
We'll still sack. Yeah, we'll still sack Russell Wilson 5 times. And how many hits on the quarterback?
9.
Yeah, we'll still, we can still do that. That's not a problem.
I mean, it was the beginning of the game where he put the ball down on the turf. I'm like, this is going to be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's and like I said, more than likely you're going to start the playoffs on the road. And like I said, literally just 3 weeks ago, you had a two-game division lead. Literally 3 weeks ago, and this is that's why I say it's another Tomlin late season disintegration. And
they were 10-3. They had a shot at the number 1 overall seed. Still 2 games away from that. Now they're 10-6, limping into Cincinnati. And if Cincinnati has something to play for, you're right, Billy. They're going to lay it all on the line. And even if they don't, they're going to lay it on the line.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, they're not going to if they're mathematically eliminated, which could vary. I mean, they need a lot. I think.
Yeah, they do. You're right.
To get in,
I think that's a harder team to play because they're more unpredictable. If they have something in the line, at least we're going to be conservative. They have nothing in the line. They're going to go fourth down all the time.
Right. Oh yeah, he's going to throw. He's just Joe Burrow. He's just going to air it out. Of course, course, he's going to want it. You think they're just going to lie down and say, "Oh, we'll give you this one, Steelers."
Yeah.
No. They're not going to do that. They're going to come out.
I mean, Baltimore did that last year, but they're not. Nobody's going to do that this year.
Yeah, I mean, so this is just, this is not a good. No, it's not a good team. I keep telling people this. I see all these apologists that get on here and want to defend them. You know what, guys? It's time to wake up. It really is. It's time to wake up. I'm not.
And you have the best. You have 2 of the best nicknames I've heard in ages: Mediocre Mike and Omar Khanjob. Yeah. The fact that they never addressed the wide receiver rooms, it's almost criminal, especially in a town where you have the Pirates and they do that all the time, to do that to the fans and to waste generational talents like a Watt and a Cam Hayward is also just embarrassing.
Well, it is. You spend all that money on your defense and you don't address your offense at all.
Yeah. And in the defense in the past, good Lord, past 4 games, 1,508 yards. If you include the Cincinnati game, 1,883 yards.
Yeah.
over the course of
I mean, hey, Steeler fans, I'm a Steeler fan just like you. You call me a negative Nancy, call me whatever you want. Hey, I'm just stating the obvious, okay? I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. I'm not going to be this guy that's going to say, oh, they're going to be fine. They'll be okay. No, they're not. No, okay? No, it's not. You see the win, and you see what they've done in the last 3 weeks. Come on.
Here's the thing, though. We all see it, and it is plain as day, Billy. You're absolutely right. Even if you're hardcore or casual or, just a fan of football, you can see it. The problem is, do the owners see it? They can't be happy with what they see year after year. Yeah. I mean, 2016 is the last time you won a playoff game.
I still said Art's not a football guy. He really isn't. He's a businessman, and I've said it before. Like, when I said it before.
You did.
I got lambasted too. When Dan Rooney died, I said part of that franchise died with him.
You called it.
I hate to say it, but it's just I really, I mean,
it's also just the nonsensical speak too. It's just that's great when you're, if you were Andy Reid, and have back-to-back soup. That's great.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, but it's nobody. It's not cute anymore.
No,
it's not cute anymore.
No, it's just, why don't you coach instead of sitting home at night and trying to figure out your next catchphrase? Why don't you just coach?
Catchphrase, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Ed, we have anything else we want to?
No, we got 2 more shows coming up. We got the Gridiron Weekly and the Pittsburgh Sports Desk, and we're going to delve into the aftermath of the game, the autopsy of the game, and we'll get into the upcoming opponent, Cincinnati. And by next week, we'll know what the game means. So.
Right. Exactly. So
I think we've done it, sir.
Yeah, no. Hey, everybody out there, like I said, Merry Christmas.
Yep.
Happy New Year. Hope like I said, I hope you've had a good Christmas, and hope old St. Nick was good to you. So I was checking that NORAD tracker last night. My kids just kept looking at, where's he at now? Oh, he's over Nantucket. Oh, now he's in Guatemala. I tell you what, he
gets around.
That's Slay, man. I tell you what, man, that guy covers some ground in a very. How do you go from Nantucket to freaking Guatemala in like a span of 20 minutes? That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
that's what I want to know. I mean, it's
pretty impressive, though, Billy.
Yeah. So, all right, everybody. Hey, thanks for tuning in. We will be back. Holidays. Yeah, happy holidays, and thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll talk to you.